Minisink Trail dedication.
Not known the history, right? That there was this major Minisink Trail. And as I researched the history, even beyond Paul Boyd, because what we were trying to do was get a grant from the New Jersey Historical Association for markers. So the original concept was to do six markers, with one starting at the end of the trail, or beginning of the trail, depending on how you start, which is Clay Pit Creek, was where the Lenapes, I believe, would probably make the pottery. And it was kind of like the last little stop, and then it split to go down to Sandy Hook and some other places. And then the other end is up on Minisink Island, which is was the council seat for the Muncie part of the Lenape tribe. That was like the Wolf people, there's Turtle people, and then South Jersey is the Turtle. So we decided that really we wanted to just get these markers up and establish this, recognize this. So it was a long sort of trail, but then part of the way of trying to get the money for these markers was doing the history. So we reached out to get letters of reference. Was Middletown Historical Society, Matawan, Homedale Historic. So we reached to the community people. And then we went to the New Jersey Historical Association trying to get money for this. And the same way that when you have to try to get a grant for a single marker is the same thing as trying to replicate and save a house. And he was from California, and I don't know the culture. I'm stepping into the culture in California. They're a little bit more friendly to each other, and they interact a little bit more than the East Coast. So he had a fire pit that he had in front of the house there, and somehow fire, I think, brings people together, and also beer too. But so he had fire and beer, and it was like a magnet for the neighborhood to come. So it was like 15 people from all different houses who would come down to the Marine's house, definitely weekly, and just everyone would hang out. One of the guys was a retired mailman from Middletown, and he's saying, well, do you know that there's Indian trails around here? And I've always been interested, I think, like Mark here, in Native American culture. So it was kind of like, oh, okay, it caught my attention. And he mentioned about Boyd having, someone that does PhD research in Rutgers, kind of pulled together Monmouth County, specifically Monmouth County, the history of kind of Native. And that is then we pulled together all this research, which we had not understood. There's county history books for Monmouth County, Middlesex County, and as you research the whole trail of this, there's the terminal moraine, which is the part of the end of the glaciers, and the trail from that went on the terminal moraine. That was, I guess, an easy way or a nice way to go. So all the way down from Minisink Island down to basically South Amboy is the part of the terminal moraine, and so it kind of rises. So it's got like this whole history, and then in 1820, as late as 1820, there were a group of Muncie that were coming down to Sandy Hook, which is pretty recent when you're talking about the recent, And there was what was rural enough. New Jersey was still rural enough. There was a guy around Middlesex County that they had approached this homeowner and said, "Hey, can we stay at your barn overnight?" And there was a group of 20 Lenape or something like that, and they said, "Yeah, you can stay in the barn overnight, no problem." In appreciation for that, Lenape in the morning did like some dances and stuff like that for this homeowner, and the community came in and stuff like that. And that was all kind of picked up in some books from 1920 by the New Jersey Historical, whatever groups, or archaeological groups. So the task of just collecting all this information was worthwhile, even though we were SEALs. But with IKE, we raised the money ourselves. And AT&T was really great, where they gave us the seed funding to pay for a marker themselves. And that gave us discounts for multiple discounts. We were able to get 2 more. So we did 2. And the Monmouth County Parks Commission, they're not here today. I don't think Christian Home is here. But they actually helped partner with this. And they put one at the beginning of Clay Pit Creek on what they call Miller's Wall. So if you haven't been down there yet to see Miller's Wall, that's kind of at Clay Pit Creek. It's worthwhile to see that. So there's one there. We did 3 now for Middletown. Gail Chester over here was kind enough to offer her property as being a location for one of the markers, and she has the history of the Minisink Trail as well as, I think, one of the earliest homes in Matawan. So it was really wonderful to put that all together there. So this is now the 1, 4, 5th, actually the 6th sort of thing that we've implanted, and we have one more to go. So it's been a really roundabout way that we've got here by accident, but I think maybe some of the best things in life happen by accidents. So I just want to appreciate everyone coming today to share in this moment. And Waishi.
So first and foremost, thank you guys on behalf of the Historical Society, on behalf of the Historic Sites Commission for coming here. This is the second of 3 of these markers. I can tell you that Mark and Claire have been really the catalysts for a lot of this stuff. This goes back probably about 6 years or so now, I think, when you first approached us with this. So this has been a long time in the making. It's nice that we're finally recognizing this. So as we recognize the important chapter in our nation's story, one that reaches long back before the founding of the United States, before Columbus, before Plymouth Rock, even before my ancestors, the Vikings, came here. It connects us directly to the values, though, we still hold today. We honor the Lenape people in the Minisink Trail, a pathway that helped shape the land that would one day become America. The Lenape were builders, organizers, and traders. Their trail systems, including the Minisink, were not simple paths. They were the original American highways. These routes supported trade, diplomacy, communication across vast distances. They formed the backbone of the region that would later grow into towns, counties, and eventually our colonies. The Lenape demonstrated qualities that the Americans continue to admire: resilience, adaptability, commitment to community, knowing among neighboring nations for diplomacy and fairness. They set an early example of the kind of cooperation and civic responsibility that would later shape American democracy. When settlers arrived on this continent, the Lenape faced immense challenges, yet they responded with strength. They negotiated, traded, and persevered in the early stages of settlement here in Monmouth County. Their presence, contributions, and cultural revival enriched our American story. Honoring the Minisink Trail is about looking at America's full, rich tapestry and recognizing that the strength of the United States comes from many people, many histories, and many traditions all woven together. As Americans, we take pride in our ability to learn from the past, recognize every community, especially now today in the Native American community, that helped shape this land, to build a future grounded in a shared respect and unity. In conclusion, I'd like to say the names of 4 of the prominent families of Native Americans that were first here when the first settlers arrived: the Valpuan, the Pompamore, the Norcuhun, and the Wakila. Today we honor the Lenape as contributors to the American story, people whose heritage of these lands reflect the best of what this nation aspires to be. So I want to thank you all, and God bless Matawan, which is how we would normally say our original name, Matawan, not Matawan, but Matawan. And God bless America. Thank you, guys.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.